Here we go. Hey guys, my name is Samuel, and I'm going to be showing you guys some simple ways to conjugate regular verbs in the present. Alright, so now guys, we're going to be reviewing the pronouns in Spanish, and I'm going to be explaining to you guys how to use those pronouns, because I have never actually explained to you guys on this channel how to use those pronouns and how in certain different situations, really. So let's review it. So now the first is yo. Yo means I, okay? Yo means I, okay? So let's say like for the verb ser, we already reviewed that. So it would be yo soy, right? I am. So now you got tú. Tú means you. It's the informal version of saying you. So you can say this to your friends, your family. You can say this to anybody that you know very closely, okay? So you can use tú, right? So now, there's going to be also ella, él or ella, okay? Él or ella it means he or she. Él, he, ella is she, okay? And now you got the usted, all right? We already know usted is the informal, right? So it's teachers. It could be also people that you don't know very well. It could be also people who are older than you. So that's more for respect, right? So you're gonna show that person that the appropriate respect that they deserve, right? So you will say usted, right? So now you got nosotros, right? That means we, okay? We, us, we, okay? Nosotros, right? And then you got also ustedes, which ustedes is remember, third person plural, right? Same thing with usted, third person singular. So usted means you guys, right? So you guys is ustedes, you guys. So it's a plural for you, okay? Now you got also ellos or ellas. Ellos or ellas means they, right? Remember in Spanish, they has two genders, right? Masculine and feminine. Remember those genders too. So how easy it is to know conjugations in Spanish. Well, to learn conjugation in Spanish is very important to know, because it's not like in English where you don't really need to conjugate a lot of verbs in different ways. Honestly, it's very easy, you know. In Spanish, right? Remember, you don't need to use the pronoun a lot when you're talking to someone in Spanish. You don't really need to use pronouns, right? Why is that? Because the ending of the verse already specifies who you're talking to or who you're talking about. So because of that, it's very important to know how to do it. So we could be looking at a few of these examples, and how do you know when you could conjugate those? Because remember, irregular verbs are regular verbs, right? So there's no exceptions to it. All right. So let's see here. So in Spanish, there are 3 verb endings. Okay. So what are verb endings? Well, verb endings are pretty much the ending of the verb, right? There's 3 ways that a verb in the infinitive can end with, right? So there's ar, ir, and er. Okay? So you can see here, right? In the verb, let's say necesitar, right? I already showed you guys in one of my shorts. Please look at my shorts. Please watch them. It's very important that you guys watch them so that you're able to learn a bit more about Spanish, right? In just 1 minute, actually. So that is very good, okay? So now back into the video. Let's look and let's concentrate on the verbs with ar at the end, okay? The verb with the ar ending at the end. Okay, so the verb necesitar, okay? So now, let's see the endings here. So first is o, as, a, amos, an. All right. So now with these, let's see how do you conjugate those. So first of all, let's look at the verb necesitar. Necesitar. What do you do with it? Well, first of all, what you do with it, you take off the ar. Okay, you take off the ar and you replace them with those endings. You replace those with those endings according to its pronoun. Okay. So you guys already saw it. I'm going to be showing you guys up on the screen here. All of the pronouns right there, okay? So the pronouns are right there. And let's see, how do you do this, okay? So now with yo, it doesn't matter which one it is, right? Any regular verb is going to have o at the end, okay? So it's going to be o. So it's going to be necesito, necesito, okay? Remember, you have to take out the AR, all right? And you replace it. So it's necesito, okay? Necesito, right? Now, tú is going to be necesitas. Remember, it's us. So necesitas, all right? Now, usted, ella, or él is going to be necesita, okay? Nosotros is amos, so necesitamos, all right? And now, ustedes and ellos or ellas, it will be han, all right? So there are the verbs. Let me repeat myself, all right? So let's see. Yo necesito, tú necesitas, él necesita, nosotros necesitamos, ustedes necesitan, and now ellos or ellas necesitan. All right? So now, let's see an example here. I need a house. All right? I need a house. So without saying the pronoun in Spanish, what would you say to say, I need a car? All right? Think of the verb endings I just showed you guys. All right? Just think about it. It's not going to be on the screen or anything like that. No, it's not going to be on the screen. Just think of it. All right? I'm going to be showing you guys. All right? Just think about it. So, now the answer is necesito una casa. I need a house. Necesito una casa. Right? So when you hear the O, now you know that it's talking about me, I. Necesito una casa. I know this is weird. When I was first learning Spanish, it was very hard for me to understand how can that even be possible. Well, look, in lots of the Indo-European language, lots of the Latin languages actually, they have this where you don't use the pronoun, right? It's only in all the Latin languages. It's only in I believe French, right? The French is the only one where you have to put the pronoun. So now, next example. They need a table. They need a table. It will be what? Well, the answer is actually necesitan una mesa. Necesitan una mesa. So now you're asking me, well, ustedes means you guys. So how do you know the difference here? Well, the answer is, well, sometimes in Spanish you have to go with context. Okay? So if I'm talking to you guys and I never talk about nobody, right? And I don't talk about anybody else but you guys. And I say necesitan, I'm addressing to you guys, right? And it's obvious. Well, you have to use the context to know that you're saying ustedes, right? Obviously, sometimes I say ustedes a lot in my videos when I'm talking Spanish so that you guys can understand that I'm talking to you guys, right? Sometimes it's good to emphasize, right? Pronouns in Spanish are used to really emphasize and to make it clear who are you talking to, who are you talking about, okay? So let's see an example here with this context here, okay? So let's see here, all right? So esos son mis hermanos, necesitan una mesa. All right? Esos son mis hermanos, necesitan una mesa. So, what is necesitan? How do you translate that in English? Right? So, it will be they need. All right? It was ellos necesitan. Mis hermanos necesitan una mesa. Right? Esos son mis hermanos, necesitan una mesa. It's not esos son mis hermanos, ustedes necesitan una mesa. Right? Obviously, if that's the case, right, it's like saying those are my brothers, and you guys need a table, right? That does not make that much sense. But if you're talking about, if you're actually saying that, well, in that case, the most natural thing to do is actually emphasize that you're talking about you now, right? You're talking about you guys, right? So it's something in Spanish that it comes natural, right? And that's why you guys should keep on learning how to speak out loud to people and conversate with people, so that you're able to do those mistakes like I just showed you right now, so that you're able to actually know how to switch pronouns, how to do all this with context and everything like that, and how to understand what the other person is saying. Alright, now, so let's see the verb ending er. Alright, so now er, we're going to be using the verb to eat, which is comer. Alright, so let's see here. So let's see the verb comer. Alright, so now yo como, tú comes, él o ella come. Nosotros comemos, and ustedes comen, and ellos o ellas comen. Alright? So now here, again, now we have to use, the reference, we have to use all these things, right? You have to use also you have to interpret what the person is trying to say, in those ways, right? So let's see the endings here. All right, let's see the endings for all the verbs, all the regular verbs in ed. All right, so it's o, es, e, hemos, and en. All right, so those are all the endings you're going to be using, right? All right, so since we know how to conjugate the verb comer, let's use some phrases to see how do you conjugate the verbs according to the phrases. Maria eats a lot. All right, Maria eats a lot. How do you do this? How do you conjugate this verb, right? How do you translate this in Spanish? Well, let's see here. So it will be Maria come mucho, right? Obviously, it's not Maria comemos mucho, right? It's Maria come mucho. Maria come mucho. Why? Because it is the third person singular. If we say that they eat a little, what will we say if we don't have the pronoun? If we don't have the pronoun, what will we say for they? What's they? Well, they can be ellos or ellas. So let's just say it's ellos, okay? So it'll be ellos comen, right? So all these things you have to really memorize, okay? So you can go back and watch again and again my videos just to see how do you do it, right? And you can also, one other thing also that I've done when I was learning how to conjugate those verbs, I wrote it down, okay? I wrote it down. I'm going to be showing you guys a picture right here of my Spanish notes from when I was learning Spanish, right? And this always helped me because every single day I was thinking about words, thinking about, well, how do I say this? How do I say this? How do I conjugate it, right? I already knew all the irregular verbs, right? That's the first thing that you have to actually know is the irregular verbs. Then after that, the regular verbs, okay? So when I was learning the irregular verbs, I could just look at this and I can already have a sense of how do you actually kind of conjugate the verb, so I can almost kind of guess, but guess in a good way. All right. So now we're going to be looking at ir, all right? So now ir, we're going to be using the verb vivir, all right? Vivir. Right? So the verb vivir means to live, all right? So now, the verb to live, let's see here the endings for the verb ending ir, all right? So it's going to be o, es, e, hemos, and en, all right? So now, you must be wondering, hey, it's the same thing for the er. So what is so different about it, right? So there's actually one thing that's actually different about this verb, all right? It's not the endings really. It's actually for nosotros, right? But let's look at first how do you conjugate the verb vivir, all right? So now, yo vivo, tú vives, él o ella vive. Nosotros vivimos, nosotros vivimos, and now ustedes viven, and ellos o ellas viven. Alright? So now you see nosotros. This is what we're going to be looking at right now for vivir, right? I guess you guys already know technically how do you put those verbs together. You guys can figure that out, right? Re-looking, re-watching some of the parts of my videos right now, okay? But if you guys already are comfortable with all the endings, let's look at the verb let's look at the pronoun, okay? If you're comfortable with this, let's look at the pronoun nosotros, all right? Because nosotros is very important for this one, for the ending with ir, all right? So you can see it's vivimos, all right? It's vivimos, it's not vivemos, right? It's vivimos, all right? So why is that? Well, Spanish rules, all right? So it's going to be, so ir and ed is literally the same thing except for nosotros, right? It's only for nosotros that it actually changes with ir. Alright? So I know this could be a bit confusing for you guys, but that's why you guys should take notes in this video and actually rewatch, okay? So if you guys are still stuck, rewatch and replay so that you're able to know, okay? So now for the people that already has gone far in this video, let's see how do you do this, alright? So first of all, what you do in this situation, you don't take out the I and the R and replace it with hemos, right? You have to take it. You have to take the R, take it out, and just put mos. All right, so it'd be hemos. So I'm going to be putting some verbs down in the description for you guys, so that you guys are able to know a few verbs, so that you guys are able to discover some new verbs actually that you're able to use in your everyday life, right? Hopefully this channel is very useful for you guys so that you're able to use the things that I've taught you in your everyday life, right? And to continue studying in Spanish. And I just want to encourage you guys to keep on going at it. I'm pretty sure you guys already know by now, I love grammar. Probably not very good for, not really the most preferable thing for you guys, the most favorite thing for you guys. But I'm just want to tell you that knowing how to do these things, knowing how to use grammar properly in Spanish has really helped me actually. And I also encourage you guys to find that motivation, right? For me, that motivation to do it was because I love culture. But for someone that can only speak two other languages, which is French and English, and I'm in Canada, which is normal for us to speak that, a foreign language was so interesting for me. It's very important that you know Spanish, really. So I encourage all of you guys. So yeah, so I'm going to be wrapping up here for you guys, right? Hopefully there was enough information. If there's not enough information for you guys, tell me in the comments below what you guys think and what I should do better. Really, thank you for all the support I've already gotten. But please support me a bit more by just leaving something in the comments saying, hey, I'm doing a good job. But it doesn't have to be always positive. You can tell me the truth about how you think, right? I'm a very easygoing guy, and I really want to know how to learn and how to grow also. So it would be nice if you guys also know how I should manage my channel a bit more and stuff like that. So I'm just a guy that wants to learn. It could be things like feedback, what should I do better, what did I miss. Make sure that you like my video and subscribe to my channel, right? And turn on that notification so that you know when it's the next video. And I will see you in the next one. So ciao.